Welcome to Mimo in Andorra,
where two guys talk about
football
nonsense
and everything else in between. With your hosts, Travis and Ricky.
Thanks everyone for joining us for another episode. We're on our 10th episode now, which feels fitting considering it's 10 episodes and we've now got a fully qualified World Cup or set of teams now for the World Cup. That's everyone. We had March Madness. It was mad. There was a lot that happened.
We did. And you know what? I noticed that just on the 10th episode thing, I did think, like, what could we say? I don't know. I did notice that earlier when I was writing my notes out as well. We're 10 episodes strong. Hopefully get up to a couple of hundred, and by that point have millions of listeners. But yeah,
flown all over the world.
Yeah, exactly. Once the World Cup happens, and we're a daily listen to all those people out there in America and stuff, that'd be great. But no, March Madness, as you say, is over. It came and gone. It was good. I thought it was quite entertaining.
Yeah, there's enough there. It's quite sad that it's over actually. And now it's like the calm before the storm with the World Cup now, because it seems like we're in a bit of a lull. There's nothing else to happen.
Yeah. Well, back to club football. I always feel a bit like when the World Cup happens, like I don't really, like I do care. Obviously, I care about club football, but I get into World Cup mode, and then I don't want to really watch any club football at that point, and I'm almost getting there. And like I'm like, yeah, actually, I don't want to go back to watching West Ham being rubbish. I'd rather just watch some international football now, thanks. Which is why I've got, as you know, I've got England, Spain on in the background here, because I don't care about the Champions League. I'd rather watching Spain women. We're currently 1-0 up and hanging on, it looks like.
1-0 up as well. Oh, that's a good...
Yeah. 3 minutes
in. By the sounds of it. 3 minutes in as well, Jesus. Who scored?
Yeah.
Did you see who scored?
It wasn't him. No, do you know what? I turned it on, and then literally as I turned it on, I was 25. I didn't realise it started early. So it was, it's 25 minutes in because it started at 7. Was it Lauren Hemp? I can't remember.
We got the Liverpool game on here and it's still 0-0. Akatike's just gone off injured. I don't know what else has gone on. I think someone cleared it off the line. I didn't see who.
Right.
But yeah,
Liverpool
funny
cleared off the line, or?
I think it was
PSG?
Liverpool. PSG cleared it off the line. It looked like.
Right. Okay.
Not long after Salah come on. But yeah, it's funny, isn't it? As you say, yeah, the stress of club football at the minute. I'd much rather international football to be watching elsewhere because the opposite ends of the table maybe. But yeah, it's club football's too stressful at the moment.
Getting trolled by a Man City fan with a bottle. Do you remember the Adios Spaniard guy from 2014? Do you remember that guy?
No.
We'll find a picture of him for the listeners when we do the edit for this. But I was saying to my mate, that guy has got so much of his energy, that Man City guy. There was a guy, when Spain got knocked out in the group stages, and he's holding, like, it looks like a tablet, but I think it's actually like a blackboard. And he's written Adios Spania in a Brazil shirt. And he's in 2014. And that just gave me the same vibes as that man there.
Did you see the interview with the
bottle man?
The bottle man afterwards.
No, I didn't. I missed it.
It's to be fair to him, he's the most unassuming guy. He was like, look, I'm just out for a bit of banter. It was not really intentional to be what it was. It was like when we were last in the stadium, we got given this bottle. Yeah. And then he goes on to tell the story. Well, it's the thing, as he goes on to tell the story, he's like, this is getting more and more intentional as you're telling this story. Like,
Yeah,
it was like...
Looked pretty intentional. And he was lapping it up as well. I mean, that's cool. Yeah. Own it. Like,
he said, and he said, like, I'm not like an aggressive fan or anything like that. It was just banter, and I'm like, all for it. Like, why not? Like, it's funny, but yeah,
we'll see.
Stressful times.
Yeah,
international football.
International football. Welcome oasis from the struggles of club football. Where do you want to start?
Well, yeah, that's it. Where shall we start? Shall we start with? I'll tell you what. You should go. Where are your notes? You've got
Italy,
the headline news for Europe.
Bosnia, Italy.
Italy.
Yeah.
Italy are out.
Yeah. They are out. You know, so I think I wrote in my notes, I always say this, the hot takes from Italy going out, like Italy are out, and yes, Italian football's in a bad way, right? Like the whole Roberto Baggio thing. I remember when that happened, actually, when he wrote that recommendation and no one did anything about it. And they've got like a really weird, really racist old guy that like is head of the FA. And he once come out and said loads of things about black players and blah, 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 blah. And so like there's a part of you that's a bit like, whatever. So be it. And if your thing. But the thing with Italy is that they're a bit unlucky as well. It's not just a case of like, they, you know, yes, it isn't great, but like you're talking about a side that won Euro 2020, which was 5 years ago, because it was obviously in 2021. They have qualified consistently for the European Championships. Yes, there are more teams in the European Championships, but they've been good in the Nations League as well. Like they've not been done terribly in the Nations League. They've reached the final bits of it. Like I think they've suffered a bit. Like to go through it, they played the first time they didn't qualify for the World Cup. They were in a group with Spain, right? They did well. I think they beat Spain in Italy. I've got a feeling they either drew. I think they might have drawn with them in Italy, and then they lost 3-0 in Spain, and that's what put them in the playoffs. And then they lost to Sweden in the playoff, didn't qualify. Next time round, I can't remember who was in their group this time. Then the last time, they come second in their group. They lose to North Macedonia. Terrible, yes, definitely terrible. But like that's off the back of winning Euro 2020, where they played quite well. And I say played really well. And then this time round, like again, it's a little bit, you know, they've been Englanded a little bit because Norway have obviously had a bit of a golden generation. And the last time Norway had a bit of a golden generation, England famously didn't qualify for the World Cup because everybody didn't, you know, kind of took them for granted. And they all came, you know, they beat us in Norway, we drew at Wembley, and we were out. And it's like Italy have kind of fallen foul of that as well. Like, you know, when you look at things like the fact that Sweden qualified having drawn 2 games and lost the rest in the actual group. And then you've got like people like, and obviously Bolivia didn't qualify, but even like some of the guys in South America, Brazil lost more games in the qualifiers than Italy did. So like you look at it like that and you go, well, you know, yes, it is bad for them. And yes, you know, they should be doing better than that. And yes, there definitely are problems that were masked by the fact that they won Euro 2020 and they never did really address things like not having great attacking players. They're not as good defensively as they should have been. I put in my notes as well, Bastoni's tackle, ridiculous tackle. Like, didn't need to make it. Like, let him run through. Like, yeah, maybe he might even score, but like, you know, then you're playing a game 11v11. So like, yeah, they're
he had a lot to do before he made that tackle. It was like that weren't needed
because he was wide, wasn't he? He wasn't down through the middle. He wasn't completely through the middle.
Just keep running down. Like it's just show him out. But it was I don't know. Maybe nerves played a part on the night. Maybe
of course.
Yeah, but Italy seems they found themselves in this position where they're repeating them.
Yeah, exactly. And that's probably the nerve thing, right? So like it's the first time they've been in a situation, well, it's the first time they were on the verge of qualifying for, like, the last time they qualified for a World Cup was in 2014, right? That would be weighing heavy on them. And they've gone to a pretty tough place. They've gone a goal up. Did you see the chance Moise Kean had when they were 1-0 up with down to 10 and Kean runs through and smashes it over and you're like, oh my God, I didn't realise that. And like they could have, you know, potentially gone 2 up in that game. But yeah, it just wasn't to be. And now there's this still, like I keep seeing adverts on Instagram saying to me, oh, they could still qualify because like, you know, no one knows what's going to happen with Iran and all this. But yeah, you know, it's a shame. I personally think it is a shame because you need, I think World Cup is rubbish when you don't have big teams there. So like, you know, I think they're probably the biggest side that hasn't qualified. They definitely are the biggest side that hasn't qualified. But you've had, like, you know, World Cups without the likes of the Netherlands recently. I don't think they qualified in 2018. You know, Uruguay have only just started getting their act together in the sort of like the last sort of like 10 years where it was a bit in the noughties where they were a bit rubbish and in the late 90s. So like, you kind of just, you know, it happens every so often.
It's a huge footballing nation, which adds to the pressure of why they should be there and everything else. But it's why you want them there as well, because they're not playing bad. Like when they play other like stronger teams in Europe, it's not like they're getting beat 4-5-0 every time. It's close games. Sometimes they're winning them still. No, so they do deserve to be there. And if they were at the World Cup, they're probably just about getting through their group. They might get to the last 16. They could go on a little run if they got
lucky. If they were at the
lucky.
World Cup, I'd back them to get to the quarterfinals. I think they'd get to a quarterfinal.
Yeah.
And that's when they'd meet probably someone probably too strong for them, maybe. I don't know. Like, they weren't great against Switzerland in Euro 2024. But, they'd get through a group. That's what I mean. They're the sort of team that would get to a World Cup, scrape it, and end up in a bloody semi-final or something like that. They're good enough to do that. They've got good players.
Well, it'll be Germany this year, wasn't it? That's what would happen.
Yeah.
Germany could go on a little run in the end.
Yeah, they're a funny one. You do wonder, how good are Germany? It's really hard to know. Obviously, they had their little period, sort of like mid-noughties, where they were terrible, but still managed to qualify for stuff because it's Germany. But yeah, I think everyone does it, really.
Well, we haven't mentioned Bosnia.
Yeah, I did think that. Got to give them some flowers, props, whatever you want to call it. I was saying, I have no idea who plays for Bosnia nowadays. You've got Edin Dzeko. Is he still there? Begovic.
No idea.
And I don't know. I'm just naming players from 20, or no, it's about 12 years ago that played for him. There's an American dude that he's American, but he's Bosnian. And he was there because I saw loads of videos where they were like interviewing him and that. And he was like, oh, that'd be a great opportunity for us to qualify, blah, 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 blah. And he obviously did. So I think there's that. But I know no one that plays for. Dusan Tadic, was he Bosnian? No, I don't think. I think it was Montenegrin. That's the problem.
Yeah.
So many people are like,
no idea.
Yeah, we're gonna do some research before the tournament starts, and we'll tell you who's good in Bosnian. Apologies, you Bosnians out there.
And it's not their first World Cup. They've been there before. They've been in 2014.
2014.
And you go back to, you could probably say a lot of Bosnian players would have played under Yugoslavia as well. So
I don't know enough about ethnicities of Yugoslav players, but I'd imagine there would have been some. But you would have imagined, given Yugoslavia, from what I see, tended to be made up of Croats and Serbians, but I could be wrong. But I think they're made up a lot of the team, which is why Croatia obviously come out of that, the whole fragmentation of Yugoslavia, and were a lot, were the strongest lot and finished third in the first World Cup they went into. I think they finished third, and then you've got Serbia. So interestingly, France 98, Yugoslavia go to France 98 as Yugoslavia, didn't they? And then they went to, after that, then they start going as Serbia and Montenegro, and then they become Serbia, and then Montenegro splits and blah, 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 blah. But they've got a history. Like Yugoslavia, fourth in 1930. And did they get to the last four in 62 as well, potentially? I think, something like that. So, they've got a history of
quarterfinal in 90.
Yeah, exactly. Good side in 1990. And that's the side that basically... So that side in 1990 in the quarterfinals is the side that basically comes third in France 98. Lots of those players. So you've got Red Star Belgrade win the Champions League or the European Cup back then. And lots of the players then go on to play... there's a Yugoslav side that wins the World Youth Cup around then. And everyone's like, oh, they're going to be really good. And then obviously the war happens. Denmark replaced them in Euro 92, win it, and this, that, and the other, which is a very good Danish side. And then I've always read loads of articles about what if the Yugoslav hadn't split up and what would they have done? And a large part of that was the likes of your Boban and Prosnecki and all of those guys who were Croatian. But obviously there were loads of other people that would have complimented them that were Bosnian and blah blah blah. So they were a good side.
Yeah, apparently they had quite a few Bosnian players in the 1990 squad.
Did they?
Yeah, they had quite a few. I think the most...
Chuck a name in there.
Safet Sušić.
Sušić.
Is that how you pronounce it?
Sušić,
Yeah,
I think,
Sušić. It's probably the most notable one. They had a great run, and then other than that, their best run was in 74 where they won 9-0 over Zaire.
Yeah, I know that, against Zaire, and then they got knocked out in the second round by Germany.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, in the group with Germany, because they drew with Brazil and Scotland, and then beat Zaire 9-0, and then Germany, and it's like Germany, Poland, and someone else. Wait, don't say it. Germany, Poland, not Argentina. So the other side was Argentina, Sweden, Brazil, and the Netherlands. Germany, Poland. Go on, say it. Who do they go in the second round group with? Germany, Poland, and someone else.
I'm just
Sweden?
trying to find it myself.
Sweden.
It might be Sweden.
It's Germany, Poland, Sweden, I'm pretty certain.
Let's see. Yeah, I think you're
Go
right.
on.
Sweden.
This is what I'm saying, mate. You've got any challenges. Anyone that's to come in here and challenge me, I'm telling you. I know my second phase group matches.
We've got a section on that later.
Yeah. Anyway, let's move back to Bosnia. As I said, don't know much about them. What group have they gone into then?
Bosnia,
Switzerland's group, isn't it? Switzerland.
Yeah.
Bosnia, Switzerland. Can't remember someone else.
They are in the group with Canada,
Really?
Switzerland, and Qatar.
Jesus Christ, man! If Italy had gone through, they'd have probably won it.
Yeah.
Canada, Switzerland, and Qatar. Qatar are awful for what they were in the last World Cup. Unless they've all of a sudden had a golden generation in 4 years, they're rubbish. Canada are going to not be great. I'm sorry, I'm not having it. Canada are good. I don't care how many Alphonso Davies and whoever else plays for Canada. Is it Jonathan? Does Jonathan David play for Canada? Someone like that. I don't care.
Yeah.
But they ain't good enough.
that is. So these
It's a
games
straightforward group.
Where are they? Yeah.
In Canada, no.
They're playing one game. Canada, they're playing in Toronto. Switzerland in California, Inglewood, and Qatar is in Seattle. So they go to Toronto and then they go to the West Coast for the other games.
Oh, right. I was just about to ask you. You just answered my question. I was going to ask: are they all in the northwest of the continent? But is Toronto not in the northwest?
Toronto, no, because it's
right
sort of above New York,
side.
sort of where the Niagara Falls is.
Yeah. Okay. I don't know. My US
name of it?
I don't think it's Niagara. No.
No, it's called St. Kilda, isn't it? I can't remember what it's called. Yeah, Niagara Falls.
Butchering our US geography. Is it?
It's like 3-4 hours from Niagara Falls, Toronto, but it's that side of it.
Right.
Of
Okay.
Canada.
But it's on the east coast, and then you go the other side for Seattle's west-ish.
Westish, yeah.
And then California is west, obviously.
Seattle is above San Francisco, I think.
I know, mate.
Okay. I should know where Toronto is. I've been there, but
have you? All right, you should know. Yeah. But yeah, so they've got a pretty straightforward group anyway in Bosnia, so they could actually go quite far eventually off the back of getting there, right?
Could be a decent one for them. That could be a decent one.
Yeah.
And then we've got, and then that was just the big upset.
That was the upset. And then you had like Czech Republic, Denmark, beat them on pens. Thomas Souček scored his pen.
Yep.
My boy. That game, I didn't watch it, but like they were ahead twice, I think, the Czech Republic. And I remember both times being like, oh, they were ahead against Denmark. I thought Denmark were better than that. Like I've seen Denmark play since Euro 2020 when we played them in our group match. But like, yeah, I thought they were better than that. I thought they would be better than that. But I'm very surprised at the fact that Czech Republic were ahead twice and then won on penalties. So, fair play to them. Hopefully they'll...
I felt the same about Kosovo. Actually, I thought they would beat Turkey.
Did you?
I just thought they would play a better game. I actually thought they would edge them out 2-0. I was thinking, but no, Turkey played well and held on for the one.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know about that. I'm not sure because obviously Kosovo. I think we spoke when we were. I don't know whether we spoke. It's all blaring into one. We either spoke on our pod or at Wembley when we went, and we said like, "Oh, Kosovo are quite good because we'd played them once and beat them 5-3, and they looked quite good in that group. I think they finished third in that qualifying group that time. It might have been for Euro 2024, and they don't look too bad, but like I wasn't sure if they... I don't know. I think Turkey are quite good. Good enough to...
Yeah.
Spain beat them badly, but like I think they're quite strong. You look at some of the players that are around, they've got some all right players. I know they didn't do amazingly at Euro 2024. But I'd be... Yeah, I wouldn't be like surprised if they got out of their group. I don't know what group they're in, so I'm saying this, but I don't know what group they're in.
Well, they're in Group A. They've got that's Czechia. That's who we skipped over. So Czechia are in a group with Mexico, South Africa, and Korea.
Another one. Bloody hell! Come on, you gotta get out of that, surely. And I'm doing Korea probably a massive disservice. Haven't seen South Africa play for a very long time, so I don't know about them. Mexico are going to be quite decent. They're going to be at home. But, yeah, you just think, like, I don't know. I wouldn't necessarily think that would be too hard, especially 3 teams going out of the group.
Well, and the other one is probably a bit similar in that it's USA, Paraguay, Australia, and Turkey.
The home, it's because they're seeded, isn't it? All of the hosts are always seeded. And they've basically just managed to avoid anyone half decent. So, like, yeah, they should get through. USA, what was that? USA, say that again?
USA, Paraguay, and Australia.
It was Paraguay. Australia. Jesus Christ, man. Turkey, surely you've got to get out of that, man. Surely you've got to get out of that group. Like, you've got to come top 3, innit? Like, it's not even that, yeah. You've got to.
You expect Turkey to do well in that one, to be fair. Yeah, they've got to.
Where are all the good teams at, man?
I know. It makes you wonder, we're Italy trying to play the long game with us.
Exactly. Like, how the hell? Who's on the other side of the draw? There's just groups of death everywhere.
So the other team, so we've done most of the teams. The other one was Sweden and Poland.
Oh
so again, Sweden come out scoring goals.
Absolute shithousery, man. Sorry, I don't even know if we determined whether we swear on this pod or not, but like
we have before. I think it's fine.
Sweden, man, come on. Like I watched a few of their games in the UEFA qualifying, and I was like, are they doing this because they know? And I didn't realise at the time. I didn't realise that they could go through the Europa League or the Europa League, the Nations League spot. I just thought they were just rubbish, and I was like, why are Sweden so bad all of a sudden? And then when they then got it, I was like, oh, is this because they just went, oh well, we'll get a place anyway. Like once you lose or whatever, because I don't know who was in the group. Who else was in their group? There, it wasn't the Belgian one. No, who was in their group? Switzerland.
A qualifying group.
No.
So I can't remember who's in their group. Were we in the group?
No. We were Ukraine and that. So Ukraine comes second in us. Was it Switzerland? No, they had like. I remember watching them lose to like someone silly. Didn't they lose to the Faroe Islands?
Switzerland, Kosovo, and Slovenia.
Yes,
and they lost to basically everyone.
Yeah.
They drew 2 games, as you say. So, yeah.
And lost the rest. And I remember watching it and being like, why are they so bad? And I do think, like, were they just resting themselves for the playoffs? Because once you lose that first one and you're like, well, we're not going to come first, so we might as well just put all of our eggs into that playoff basket and come through the Nations Leagues. But I don't know. I don't know why they were so...
We've done the math.
Yeah. Well, they got there. They got there. So, I mean, they're taking a piss out of Italy, man. Like, they basically just downed tools and still got to the World Cup. Italy put everything into it.
They've probably got the hardest group out of all the other qualifiers, to be fair. Out of those European ones, anyway.
Go on, give me it.
So it'll be interesting. So they've got the Netherlands, Japan, and Tunisia.
Oh, yeah, that is probably the hardest one of the ones that came through those playoffs. They're the hardest one.
Yeah,
because we watched Japan beat England the other day, and they looked all right. The Netherlands obviously are the Netherlands. Funny team, but I'd imagine they'll be quite good. Then you've got, and obviously they were semi-finalists in Euro 2024, so they're, good enough. And then you've got what was that one? Netherlands, Japan, and Tunisia. Tunisia. Don't remember even watching any of their games in the Nations Cup. I don't remember them. I don't know anyone who's Tunisian. I don't remember watching them. Obviously, but can I just caveat? By the end of the summer, obviously, I would have watched all of these teams 3 times at least. But yeah, at this point in time, I don't really remember much about Tunisia. So you'd not to be disparaging of someone, but I think that Tunisia might be the weaker side in there.
Did Tunisia go through the other? Did they class as Europe in the qualifiers?
No.
Did they?
Africa.
I'm trying to find.
What do you mean?
Africa.
Is your geography just failed you there, mate?
Yeah,
it's bad
definitely.
If you want to pod about international football.
Failed me completely. You know, I'm looking at the qualifiers. I'm going, where are Tunisia? And I've realised I've got it set to Europe.
Group. Yeah, they came top of a group in Africa, so they would have been like well out. Like they didn't even go for a playoff or anything like that. They're good. I don't know who they were in with.
This would be interesting then to see what happens with that one. So Europe is done. We've got our qualifiers. We've got all of the European teams now. Sad that we are missing Italy. I'm seeing the jokes that Italy are applying for to host a future World Cup is the only way to qualify. I think people are making that joke, forgetting that it no longer guarantees you to be there now, does it?
No, doesn't it?
No, I think, was it this one is the last
Well,
one
that's
or
'cause-
something?
Isn't that because they've got like 20 hosts for the next one though? Like or something.
Yeah.
Like that's
Aye,
the reason
maybe.
why. So stupid. They've got it's got 5 hosts. The next one,
That's
2030.
ridiculous.
It's like Argentina, Uruguay, Morocco, Spain, Portugal. And it's
That's just
like,
ridiculous.
why have you done that, man? Like, it's so gimmicky, man. I'm like, just keep it as it is. Hosts and holders qualify automatically. 24 teams. Go back to the 80s. That's what you want to do. So, yeah, what were we saying? We were talking about, yeah, so like Italy, obviously the joke, as you said. Yeah, Europe's pretty much done. Yeah, I think.
So, and before now, well, I guess now it's time for the real qualifiers, as you put it.
The real qualifiers, that the joke carried on from the England little videos. I hope everyone saw our videos on our TikTok. We didn't mention the fact that we've got a TikTok now. We have a TikTok.
We are young.
Meanwhile in Dorma.
We have a TikTok.
Yeah, go follow us, guys. We're young and hip, and definitely under the age of 30, both of us. And we have TikToks. I loaded my first ever video into TikTok today. Felt really proud of myself.
We had microphones and everything.
Yeah, I know, right?
It was hilarious.
We were the part that day. Yeah, beard
It's the
up.
fact
Had a
that-
couple of drinks.
It's funny how quickly people do come and talk to you as well. It is hilarious.
Yeah.
When they see you doing it, they're like, yeah, so no, I want in on that. Like, yeah, it's quite good.
We spoke to someone and then fucked up the sound on it, didn't we? So then we couldn't even put it up there because the
Yes.
quality was terrible.
Yes.
So we're not quite there yet, guys. But we managed to get each other, which is fine.
Which we've done. So that was brilliant. So yeah, if you haven't
Yeah.
found us on TikTok, go and look for us. Go find us. Like the
Yeah.
video, share them.
Well, yeah, please do like and subscribe, as they say to my kids on YouTube. And also, you'll get the real qualifier joke, the real qualifiers. Do you remember that
Yes.
guy? There's a video circulating as well, and I turned around to a guy. I went to him. Who's going to win in? I can't remember what it was. Was it Congo against Jamaica? And he went, I don't care. I was like, all right,
He
mate.
just went. His first one was who?
Yeah.
He was like, and then he was like, I don't care. It's my birthday.
Yeah, was it that?
Yeah.
Oh God.
Yeah, it was that bloke. It is his birthday. He wanted his moment.
Yeah, wanted his moment,
Hilarious.
but didn't want to talk about the real qualifiers though.
Yeah. What do you mean there's another game on? England are playing.
Yeah, exactly.
That was a perfect phrase for your old blog.
My blog, but England aren't even playing. Yeah.
Yeah, what are you on
Which
about?
is all about that. It's still around. If you ever want to
still
go
in.
and have a look. Still a thing.
You watched it, Suriname.
Yeah, the first
Bolivia?
one, Suriname against Bolivia. So I did watch that. I watched the whole game live because I'm mental, and I was like, right, come on, put it on at 10 o'clock on like I think it was Tuesday night, and then watched the first half downstairs, and then was like, I'm actually quite tired, and I have to be up at 5:45 in the morning for work. So then I basically got my phone, got it up on my phone, and then went to bed with my phone next to me. So I was sort of like dozing, like I said I would during the Ashes, like I did that in the Ashes. And then I watched the set. So I probably watched the entire first half, and then the second half up to about, I saw them score because I saw Suriname take the lead, because Suriname took the lead just after half time. Then I saw both goals. So I watched it. I reckon I watched the first 70 or so minutes, like uninterrupted, and then started to drift off to sleep, and then managed to catch the winner, which was a penalty, wasn't it? When the guy comes in and fouls the guy, and it's a penalty, and I saw all of that, and then was like, okay, they're through to the next bit. And the one thing I said about that at the time was that Suriname started really well. Like, and I know we're analysing two teams that are not even in the World Cup now, so it doesn't really matter. But like, Suriname started really well, and I was like, they're much better than Bolivia. And then as the game wore on, Bolivia just kept getting chance after chance after chance, and by the end of it, Suriname were hanging on. And I was like, surely this has got to be altitude. This has got to be, altitude FC, as you called them, kicking in. And then they played Iraq, and Iraq were like, no, you're just not good enough, guys. You're not going to beat us. You're not beating us for that.
No chance.
And they lost predictably. I think you called the Iraq thing, didn't you? You said Iraq they'd have too much for them when we were at Wembley.
Yeah, when we was at Wembley, I said Iraq in predictions. I thought they would have too much for them. There's altitude in Iraq, probably not football pitches in those altitude.
I mean, I don't know how.
Lots of mountains, but yeah, but no, I don't know about people and them playing sports at that terrain. But I didn't think that they'd beat Iraq. I just thought footballing wise that they'd just have too much for them, and I think they did on the night. And I did see the highlights, and it was like, well, they looked alright, Iraq, and looking at the Iraq in their group, unfortunately, they didn't have an easy ride compared to the European qualifiers.
There's no more easy rides left, considering everyone else did.
So they've gone into a strong. Well, there's already a couple of strong
Iraq
teams.
have got Bayern Munich, Brazil from 1970, Barcelona with Pep Guardiola,
90s AC Milan.
Yeah. The AC Milan side that lost, that conceded 12 goals in a season or something like that once.
Yeah,
under Fabio Capello.
It'll be brilliant.
With Van Basten when he was fit.
Isn't it? I think Iran's are going to have to go on the defensive. They've got Norway, Senegal, and France.
Oh, God, yeah. Jesus Christ, yeah. Yeah, Iraq are finished, mate. Didn't realise.
So, yeah.
Listen, I've only seen them play highlights in one game, and I'm telling you, my one prediction I'm going to call is that Iraq are going to get beat by all three of those sides at the World Cup. Sorry, Iraq.
What do we think? There are going to be some high scores in those games.
I don't know. Maybe not necessarily high scores, but yeah, I don't think they've got anything for any of those teams. I think all of them. I think Senegal beat them by maybe one or so. Then you're looking at France and that. No, you're gonna. Unfortunately, it's not gonna be great for them.
No. Then I think Norway against them as well is going to be just as bad. Could be. Yeah, there's good games there. So Iraq, and then we had the other side, Dr. Congo. Unfortunately, they got to the final.
Yeah, well, that's fortunate. I wanted them to get there. I wanted them to get there, but didn't want them to. I kind of wanted them and didn't want them to get there because obviously you wanted New Caledonia to go there and go into that group. What you really wanted, New Caledonia in that group. Well, obviously they were never going to get in the group because they weren't drawn in there. But if they were in the group with that one we just said, with Norway, France, and Senegal, our dream of getting 15 World Cup would be on. France seconds would play. I think if you're, by the way, sorry to cut you off topic. If you're France, right, and you play New Caledonia in the World Cup, or anyone of that calibre, surely you don't even, it doesn't matter what game of the tournament it is, whether it's your first or second, you don't play Mbappe and those guys. You just rest them because you don't want to injure them. Surely you just go, right, then we're just going to play Doué and Barcola and all of those other people that are on the fringes because they're all still great anyway. And you beat them and maybe bring Mbappe on for the last 10 just to make sure he doesn't get injured. Because what killed them at Euro 2024 was Mbappe breaking his nose in that game against Austria, I think it was.
Yeah.
And if he doesn't do that, I think they're pushing Spain in that semi. I think people forget about that.
It's reading. I think it's right, especially now we're given how many games these top players play at their clubs. In this season. Whereas before, I think when you didn't play as many games, you kind of need them to grow into the tournament the bits you want them playing. If they get 2-3 goals, then great, rather than risk them. Whereas I think now, I was reading saying the other day, they were the optimum amount of games you can get the most out of a top player is 60 games a season. Whereas some of these players now are coming to the World Cup having played 68, 70 games.
Wow.
So it's if you can rest him, you're going to rest him because you're already going to have players. I think I was reading about Declan Rice and how many games he could play by the time England come out of the World Cup. I think it'd be 68th or 69th game of the season if Arsenal got to the Champions League final. So you're wow, that's ridiculous. I think nowadays, before I would have previously been on maybe let them grow into the tournament, get a few games, get the sense of the layout. But now, I think you need to use the squad, don't you?
Especially if you've got a team that you think we should comfortably beat these guys, surely you do that. I mean, yeah, we're speaking completely hypothetically because New Caledonia couldn't get past Jamaica as we predicted, but only 1-0, which is mad in itself. I thought That was a telltale sign for Jamaica's chances of getting there. If you can't beat New Caledonia by like 4, I'm not sure you're ready for a World Cup.
And Dr. Congo weren't letting it go.
Yeah.
They took advantage of that opportunity.
Yeah, I mean, they only just about beat Jamaica. There wasn't like a slaughtering either. Like it just goes to show, like we talk about international football and like, you know, even with like everyone in international football, there's with the deficiencies that you have in teams because they have a certain pool of players they can pick from. No international team is probably as complete as a club side. Obviously, the fact that they don't play all the time together as well. And as a result, you get really close games like that, which shock you a little bit. So, yeah, like very surprised that they only beat them 1-0. Was it? It was 1-0, wasn't it? Yeah, 1-0.
Yeah,
it was 1-0.
1-0.
It was the Bolivia game was 2-1. Yeah, so like interestingly, yeah, just very surprised to see that really. Like, I thought they might get a couple more, but it doesn't matter. I'd absolutely love to know what happened to Wan-Bissaka while he was out there because he doesn't seem to have touched the pitch since he got back from West Ham. I'm like, what did you do to him?
Has anyone said what it was? Or
I don't know. I've seen him in training. My boy watches all the training videos and that on YouTube, and I've seen him there. So it's not like he's not training. I don't know. Maybe it is tactical, but like I thought he was our first choice right back, and ever since that game, and I know there was some sort of weird. I don't really follow it, but Nuno and the FA from Dr. Congo got into some sort of thing about him being called up, and I don't really understand, but I don't get what happened. But yeah, so I don't even know if he played, but he's not played since for us anyway. Which anyway, hopefully he'll have a good World Cup. Hopefully we'll stay up and he'll have a great World Cup. And yeah, hopefully what will actually happen is that they'll find that everybody was doping and New Caledonia have to be put into the competition because Jamaica were doping and so were Dr. Congo, and then they put them in, and then we get our 15.
this scenario is brilliant.
Yeah.
Jamaica were doping too, so they can't get in.
They were doping. You know what? Let's just put them in the final with France. Everyone's doping. New Caledonia, France for the World Cup, and say that France have to score 10 to win it.
Maybe the winners of the World Cup should go on a little tour and they have to play like certain countries and different
Like
regions.
boxing.
Like
Boxing,
yeah.
where you just got to defend the belt against anyone. Any old bum.
Yeah. Oh, that'd be hilarious. But their group is one of the least exciting
was it?
groups. So it's Portugal, Uzbekistan, and Colombia.
Yeah, interesting
It's
one.
Mixed
Colombia,
abilities
funny
there.
one. I watched Colombia. I watched Colombia in the break. Couple of games. Did they play Croatia and someone? I can't remember. Did they play Croatia? And James got an assist. I'm pretty certain they played Croatia, and I watched it because they did like a weird tour of America, didn't they, or something like that? And they
Did they? Oh, okay.
Yeah. And they played. I watched at least one of their games in the break, and I can't remember who it was against now because I watched that much football. But I saw James get an assist against someone, and then they made him. Oh, that's when the guy missed the open goal as well. Did you see that?
I saw someone miss an open goal. I couldn't tell you if
Judging
it was
from your reaction, I'm not sure he did. It might have been the guy from Liverpool. Yes, that was at Liverpool. I can't remember. There was like a little 1-2, ball gets squared, players through on goal, and he's just got to tap it. Like it's one of them ones where like genuinely you or I would score. And he squares it, and he just, I don't know what happens. He just absolutely misses it. And obviously, luckily, it was a meaningless game. But if that meant anything, they'd be done. That was like, honestly, it's one of the worst misses I've ever seen.
Wow, I'm going to go and look at that now. Next, I think it was I was watching a championship game the other day, and I think it was there was a missed goal in that. I think that's why I'm getting confused.
Mate, it's not as bad as this. Honestly, they've gone round the goalie. They've gone round the goalie. They've passed the ball round the goalie and just squared the ball. It's like, you remember that whole, if Kane had squared it to Sterling?
Kane had squared it.
Yeah, it's like that. Gone round the goalie. We're in. We've scored.
Mind you, Leeds done that last night. The way they went round the keeper. Jesus, they went round the keeper, and then the touch that took it round the keeper. He like 2-footed it, right foot to left foot, round the keeper. That left foot touch was just a bit too heavy, so the ball got away from him to actually get it in. But he was only 2 yards away from the line. It just the defender come in. It was a really good tackle at the end and put his foot in the way. But yeah, I think it's a better touch.
Yeah, so I mean that's a good tackle. This is like playing up like Sunday League. Don't know what happened here. Yeah. Watch it and come back, and you'll see. Yeah.
So we've got all our teams now and all our groups set out. So it's now finally the build up to the actual World Cup itself, and we'll be focusing on different things and aspects to look forward to the World Cup, different games. We might pick our favourite memories. In the meantime, we've also got things to focus on, such as we've got a new feature, Challenge Travis, where we're going to try. So if people do have things they want to get in touch and think they can challenge Travis, do send them to our Instagram page, and I'll be delighted to pick one and read them out. If Travis is
and
up for that.
I genuinely won't cheat as well.
No,
so
you
like
wouldn't.
if you think, because I take it as a matter of pride not to cheat, to show my neurodiversity, my World Cup biased neurodiversity off to people.
I was literally about to say he's too proud to cheat. He's way too
I
proud.
am too proud to cheat. No, do you know my latest thing on that? I think I don't know if I've said this before. If I've got absolutely nothing to do in my day, and generally only if I've got nothing, like, so I'll give you an example. I was at a barber's the other day, right? I got like I'm waiting to have my hair cut. I'm sat there and I've got nothing to do. I just flick on ChatGPT and I'll say to it, give me 10 World Cup questions. And they've got to be A, hard enough, but B, accurate. Because a lot of the time it will say to me, no, that's wrong. And I'll be like, no, you're wrong. And then it'll be, oh, actually, you're right. And I'll say why it's wrong. And that's my thing now. If I've got a bit of time in my day, I'll just chuck on ChatGPT, ask it to ask me 10 World Cup questions. And most times I'm like 10 out of 10. And I might correct it as well and be like, no, that's wrong because this happened and that happened and that happened. And it does that thing of, oh, yeah, you're right, actually. And I'm like, I know I'm right. I know I'm right. As I said, I'm definitely neurodiverse and have a speciality in international football. Not just World Cups, European Championships as well. But I try not to. It's a World Cup year, so I only want to talk about World Cups at the moment. But like, yeah. And FA Cup finals as well, if you ever want to do that. But yeah.
Yeah, I've sat with you and we've recounted the World Cup, the FA Cup finals, and you told me the scores. I can't remember where we were.
Yeah.
I think we had time to kill.
As I said, I can do 1978 to the present day.
Yeah.
Which, yeah, is a bit mad. As I said, it's weird. Absolutely useless, guys. I don't earn loads of money off of this. Like, it's completely pointless thing. But just a weird thing that my brain takes stuff in. And obviously for stuff I've seen, it works even more so because obviously my brain then goes, oh, what were you doing at the time? And then I can relate things that happened to stuff that was either going on in my life or what I was doing on the day. So then from 1990, I started watching football properly in 1989. So from 1989, and obviously including the 1990 World Cup, I can basically recall anything. Like stupid stuff that, like I said, is like pointless that everyone's forgotten about. So Challenge Trav is the short, long and short of it all is, yeah, let's do it. It's the first person to beat me gets something. I don't know what.
It would take that long. We'll have time to come up with something, I'm sure. That's our excuse.
I'm sure. The first person that puts a challenge in will beat me. I'm not a machine. So like there's still a whole breadth of things I don't actually know. But like, yeah.
Coming up with some of these as well makes my job harder as well in terms of thinking, oh my gosh, like what kind of thing can we come up with? Because there's questions where I think people typically think are hard, whereas they don't think, unlike me, they don't understand the nerdiness with this.
Depends, because sometimes people go well hard. People will go really hard and they'll go, oh, ask me a question about like a qualifier. And I'm like, well, obviously I didn't watch Romania against Bulgaria that year, but then there'll be like things where you're like, I know that because it happened. Like I remember, like if it's a memorable thing that happened, then obviously, yeah. So it's really hard. It's really hard to gauge it, which is the thing about ChatGPT. Like sometimes you ask it a question and it will be like, it'll go, who won the 1994 World Cup? And you're like, that's rubbish. Like the other day, another one. So the other day it asked me who scored the winning goal in the 1994 World Cup final, which is a bit of a trick question. And I said to it, Dunga. The winning goal, right? Because Dunga scored the last penalty in that shootout.
Yeah.
Right? And I remember it. And the reason why is because I remember him scoring it and Pele being in the stands and doing the whole celebration thing. And then obviously Baggio misses his. And then ChatGPT was like, well, it wasn't actually Dunga because Dunga, you'd count it as the first person to score. And I was like, well, no, it wouldn't be the first person that scored in the shootout. It was the last person that scored in the shootout. You would count as the winning goal. Even though they won by more than one, you'd count it as that. So that's not true. So like, yeah, there's stuff like that, like Dunga's, yeah. So that is quite nerdy. Like to remember a penalty shootout and remember who missed is, it's big deal. It's pretty messed up. And somehow I'm married. I've got kids and everything, and my wife finds me interesting.
As I said,
I don't know how.
Trev did make it out of his bedroom.
Yeah. I don't know how. Managed to like mask it all. That's what I do. And then this is what the podcast is for. So I can just get my inner thoughts out.
This is a medium for that. I love that.
Yeah.
There was once, obviously I was trying to think of things that were nuanced, and I was focusing on a particular year, and I got a few that I think, this is more not to challenge you, I think it's for me, I think you'll get them, but I think it's more setting the bar for other people to send in challenges, so that they understand what we're dealing with.
Currently shitting myself with Richie's intro there, by the way. 1934.
No, I want to be that bad. So which nation and who was it scored the very first golden goal in World Cup history?
Oh, I know that. That's Laurent Blanc for France against Paraguay in that round of 16 game.
Yeah, exactly.
Again, okay, fine.
Well, that I think is the kind of thing people think, oh, there was only ever one golden goal tournament that had golden goals in it, but there was loads of golden goals.
There were two. 2002 had golden goals.
The golden goals.
I can tell you who they were as well.
And do you remember, same World Cup then, who was the only player to score a hat-trick at that World Cup?
Stuart.
Yeah.
Was it Batistuta or Suker?
Batistuta was in my shirt.
Japan or Jamaica? Japan. Was it Jamaica?
I think it was Jamaica in the
groups.
First game. Yeah.
First game. Right, in the groups.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember.
And then I did have an evil one down, but I thought that was too evil.
Go on. Try me, though.
You want it?
Yeah, go on. I might as well.
It was quite ridiculous. Where is it? Where did I write it? Who assisted Suker's goal against Germany in the quarterfinal of 1998?
I know they beat him 3-0. I remember Robert Yanni scoring. I don't really remember Suker. I'm just going to literally guess, and this is a complete guess, don't know. Boban.
No.
Don't know.
Robert Przesnicki.
That was the other guess I would have gone for, you know. I'm not just saying that, because obviously they're the two
I thought you were going to say it.
Really I know.
You nearly did.
Portsmouth, didn't
no
he?
way he's going to say it.
He ended up having Portsmouth, didn't it? Yeah. But no, I just, that would have been a complete guess, because, like, I don't know who set him up, but, like, I remember they beat Germany 3-0 in the quarterfinals, and Robert Yanni gets the last one. He was also, you mentioned, he was one of the Red Star players as well, wasn't he? When they won the European Cup. Yeah. He was obviously very, very young then. But yeah, they have like they had a whole generation of players that came through, won the European Cup with Red Star Belgrade, like won the Youth Cup. And then like on the cusp of being like this team all coming together, and there was talk of them being really good in Euro 92 and in USA 94, and then obviously the war happens and they all get separated, and you get one that obviously comes third in a World Cup, so they were good. But then, like, you know, you're like, oh, if you teamed up Dragan Stojkovic and all these other players, like, you know, Mihailovic, the left back, the guy for Sampdoria that scored like with the free kicks and that, Sinisa Mihailovic, and all these other people, you know, would that team have been like, you know, the one team, you know, the team to go and do it maybe, or get to a final maybe. You'll never know. And 1990, they weren't bad. They get knocked out by Argentina on penalties in 1990. That's where Goycochea has a really good game. So, as in, like, good saves in the shootout. He saves two. I think Maradona misses his penalty in that shootout, and then Goycochea saves two. And they beat Spain in a round of 16, who were all right. And then they play, in their group, they play Germany, got beat 4-0, but Germany obviously go on and win it. And like everyone's like, actually, you're quite good. Then they play, they would have played Colombia next. They play Colombia, and I think they beat them. Yes, they must have beaten them. They beat Colombia, and then they played the UAE last. And then they beat the UAE, and the reason why is because obviously, and I've got my Freddie Rincon. It hasn't got Rincon on the back, but my other top, you notice I've got my Spain 1994 away kit. That my wife went to me, what's that? She's like, what's that? Looks like a cricket top. Looks rubbish. I was like, this is Luis Enrique getting elbowed in the face by Tassotti in the quarterfinal. Thank you.
Can I just say, totally different reaction to the one I had when you joined tonight, and I was like, oh wow,
Yeah.
where did you get that?
Yeah. But I've got a Freddie, not Freddie Rincon, but the top so Colombia, and this isn't about Colombia, we're talking about Yugoslavia, but Colombia famously equalised in the last minute against Germany, and they think it does send them through, but actually they would have gone through anyway as a best third, and they go through as a best third anyway, but it would have sent them through anyway. And they equalised, and Freddie Rincon scored a goal, and they're wearing this red Adidas top with like the yellow and blue things on it. It's lovely top. I just bought one. I bought one off of one of those retro kit type places the other day. Yugoslavia are in that group. Is my point.
I think you've shown how the bar is set higher. Anyway, so guys, if you've listened to that, you need to understand what we're aiming for here.
We should ask you a challenging question. Let me ask you a question. Should ask you. It's not just about me. Let's ask you one. Right. So, come on. Name me 2 England goal scorers in the 2018 World Cup.
2018 World Cup. Is that the Iceland affair?
No, that's 2016 European Championships.
2016 European Championships. 2018 World Cup. I'm trying to think where
Do you want me to help you by telling you?
Yeah.
Do you want me to help you by telling you who we played?
Because I remember one was the free kick. I remember it. Was it Sweden? Was it Kieran Trippier? Was it?
No, that's you're thinking of the semi-final. But yes, Kieran Trippier is one.
Kieran Trippier
he scores
is
in the
one of them.
semi-final against Croatia.
Semi-final, and I remember that goal. And I can't remember who scored the free kick.
Trippier scores a free kick in that semi-final. Literally early in the game. Early in the game, he gets a free kick. I mean, there's a really obvious one.
Kane.
Yeah. I mean, he gets a hat-trick against Panama. Jesse Lingard gets ones against Panama as well, and then someone else scores. I can't remember who was the third one. We beat Panama 5-0 or 6-0, can't remember. Lingard scores. And then we beat Tunisia 2-1. I always remember, see, this is the thing, like my weird brain, right? Beat Tunisia 2-1, and I remember it because I missed the Tunisian equaliser because my twins were born like 2 or 3 days before that World Cup started, and I was out in the bin store in my thing changing a dirty nappy. I'd basically put it in a bin, put it in the bin in a nappy bin, and I could hear inside that something had happened, and was like, fuck's sake, and went inside, and Tunisia had equalised, and then Kane scored again or whatever, and we won. But yeah, there you go.
I remember that I was very drunk that whole World Cup. I do remember that because it was we often talk about it. Me and my wife. It was the year we got married.
Yes, it was.
Wedding was 7 days after your twins were born. And it was that we just remember it was like a continuation of the wedding. Every time England were playing, it was with similar people. We were with similar people watching it, just having.
And obviously,
a party.
we got to the semis as well, didn't we?
Yeah, we had a great run. Yeah, and it was great. And do you remember it was a great year for the summer as well that year as well? So in terms of
summer
weather,
was quite warm. Yeah, it was very warm. Yeah, it wasn't even quite warm. It was the most consecutive days of 30 degrees. That's the thing. Do you know what that reminds me of? Quarterfinals against Denmark. Quarterfinals where Harry Maguire. You know that meme where Harry Maguire's on the thing.
Yeah,
that's from that. That's from that game. Yeah. Because
I remember that.
My son Jesse, the Trav Mark II, basically he was obviously a newborn baby, and a month old. He got taken to hospital, really sick, like suspected, like about to get sepsis. And it was the day we played Colombia. So I missed the England-Colombia game because he was obviously in hospital when I was watching that.
Yeah.
Watching him, sorry, not watching the game. God, NSPCC are going to come down, get raided. So I was at the hospital. I missed the England-Colombia, our first ever penalty shootout win. Jerry Mina scored for Colombia, equalised.
Yep.
He spends the whole week in hospital, and I'm to and from the hospital, and he's really sick, like really, really, like really sick, and luckily he's all right now. And then he comes out the day we played the quarterfinal against Denmark, right? But that game, it was because it was so hot that summer. We bought these fans on the day. We were like, right, we're getting, like, he's coming out of hospital. I'm going to, like, buy these fans for the house because it's unbearable how hot it is in our house. And I just always tie us winning the quarterfinal with buying the fans, him coming out of hospital. That's how my brain works.
This is a very different circumstance to mine. I remember the reason why Sweden sticks in my head because I remember the Saturday. I remember it being hot, and we were at
Was it
Holly's
Sweden? I
parents'.
can't remember who it was. Because I know Sweden played Denmark in the round of 16. Was it? I can't remember which one of them gets through. Was it Sweden we beat then? 3-0.
We beat Sweden 2-0. And yeah, it was. Let me see.
We're both scrambling around now.
England, Sweden,
Wales.
2018. Highlights. What's the score? 2-0.
Was it 2? Oh, there you go. See, look, challenge Trav. I don't fucking remember the score, mate.
Harry Maguire and Dele Alli.
Dele Alli.
Yeah, Jesus, blast from the past. Yeah, that was.
Dele Alli.
I just remember us being so bad. We were recreating the dentist chair meme.
Lovely.
Or like
Lovely.
moment in the garden with bottles of champagne, and it was
As you do.
It was as you do.
But you were a newlywed. Just remember that, guys. He doesn't just have champagne lying around his house. He was just got married.
I had just got married and pre-kids as well. So
Exactly. The NSPCC are not coming to your house either. Could get raided, both of us. A sting.
Dentist chair. Travis was on the floor with the dentist.
I was at home
No,
with my kids.
you was at home. No, yeah, no, I do remember that. And yeah, so it's funny you talk about the shirts actually, because I was thinking this is when I've looked at retro shirts and stuff like that. I've always had a thing. I've always struggled to get international ones in the sense of it always feels not like superstitious, but I've always had a thing of, is that crossing the line? Do I do it with international? But then I was like, surely that's more a thing for club football. I've always found it easier to have club ones.
Oh no,
than international ones.
I would never wear, as no sane person would ever do. I'd never wear another Premier League team shirt.
Yeah.
I remember obviously I like Everton, as you know, but I still never wear an Everton shirt. And long story behind that. I would definitely wear an international shirt of anyone. I've got about 3 France tops. I had the Italy top that they won the World Cup in 2006 and then Euro 96 top as well. I've got a couple of England ones, obviously. I've got England's away from 2006 and they're away from 2012. And I had an England away kit from like 1991 or something, like mad red one, and I've lost it somewhere. I don't know where. Got a load of France ones. I've got a Brazil Ronaldo top, which was made by Nike. It isn't a top, but it's like a top for 2002. I might wear that next time, but it's falling apart. I'm absolutely gutted. It's falling apart. I love it. What else have we got? I've got so many. I'm like, yeah. There's a few international kits. I don't mind. I don't feel like it's cheating. It's not cheating on your team when you've got an international kit. I think it's more the
Like you say, I couldn't do the Premier League. Yeah, I think it's fine.
Yeah,
League, so
I think
it's
that's
fine,
like it's odd behaviour. Like that's the sort of thing you'd do. Like you'd be like, "What sort of fan are you?"
Yeah,
like even like I've seen a couple of like stags and that. Like you know our mate Dan, who's a massive Spurs fan, and in his stag he wore an Arsenal shirt. They made him wear an Arsenal shirt, and I'm like, I would be that stag that was like, oh, he's a really bad sport because wouldn't wear that shirt. But I'm not wearing a bloody Arsenal shirt or whatever, or a Spurs shirt or whatever, like, or Millwall or whatever. Not doing it.
I think it's one of those things that's been, when you're arranging a stag, it's been suggested to me a few times for other people, and I've been like, it's the one thing, I'd be like, you can't do it. I'm like, I wouldn't do it. I'd be the same.
You've just reminded me of this great story for you, yeah. Years ago, I used to work I think I've said this before, I used to work at the Foreign Office. You know I know this, but this is for everybody else on the pod. I used to work at the Foreign Office, and you mix with people that obviously aren't typical working class. Maybe watch as much football as I do, definitely, and other people. And I had a guy there, and he was in our team. And by the way, I was a contractor at the Foreign Office. I worked for a company that contracted there, and I had another guy in our company that was working there, and he was leaving, right? And he was from Sheffield, and he was leaving the Foreign Office, and and I never forget this. And he was a keen cyclist. Like really, like one of the sort of guys that goes out and does like 100 miles on the weekend, and you're like, all right, yeah. Like nothing of him, like looked like Bradley Wiggins, like tiny, right? And he was leaving, and we did a bit of a collection for him for his leaving do. And then someone said, "What should we get him?" And then someone went, "Oh, why don't we get him a bike cycling jersey?" And I'm like, yeah, great idea. And this is all over email because it's like 2016, 2015, and like everyone, that's how we talk over email. And this whole email train goes back and forth. And then someone goes, oh, let's get it in the colours of his team, Sheffield Wednesday. Yeah. And then someone else comes in and goes, yeah, red and white. And I thought it was messing about. I thought it was messing around because obviously that's Sheffield United, right?
Yeah.
But these guys just didn't know. So they go off. They do the collection, I give them my money, and it comes to like presentation day. Like, you know, this is like I said, it's 2016 or whatever. You're in an office, everyone gathers round, and he's going to open his collection present in front of everybody. And I watch this guy, who's like one of the only like proper football fans in there, like me, open up a bicycle cycling jersey that is red and white striped. He was as silent as I am now. And at that point, I was like, ooh. He wasn't fucking around or joking when he said red and white. He just didn't know.
And you know when you're probably the only person in the room to realise, so you're looking around like, what on earth? Like, which then makes you look guilty as well.
Like you like feigned like, oh, this is lovely, guys. Thank you. Striped. Not even like just like, you know, it's happened to be red and white. It looks like a kit. Yes, man. I was like, I didn't realise. So funny.
There's 2 teams in Sheffield.
Oh yeah, it was like that. Yeah, like so. Yeah, that was probably the closest to like proper betrayal of Premier League or club loyalties. Man, that was bad. I'm pretty certain he never wore that. He can't have ever worn that top, man.
What do you do with it? So I don't imagine it's a kind of thing. Would you just lie and say, "Oh, it's not my size"? Or yeah, gee.
Shut your mouth, man. Think how much money we wasted as well. Like they're not cheap. Them things, like a proper nice top, and everyone's put in money and everything, and like you know, God, idiots. Well, because you don't know what colour Sheffield Wednesday. Sheffield Wednesday are a decent-sized club, man. Do you not know who Sheffield Wednesday are? When they won the league like 3 times or so.
See, we're not just topical people. We do actually give you good advice here. If you're going to buy a football shirt to someone, make sure you know which team it is. They do support. And if there are 2 teams from the area that they support, make sure you get the right one.
Exactly. It's like there is like, I mean, obviously you wouldn't want your rival's team anyway, but like there's a bit of a, like if you're from a particular part of Sheffield, you support Wednesday, and another part is United, and they have like stereotypes about each other and stuff like that. So like he was pretty offended, man. He was like, what are you doing? You trying to say I'm a United fan? So funny. Brilliant. So funny. And a completely wasted £5 on my part, like for everyone else as well.
Wasn't there a time where someone you called a Geordie person a Mackham, or the other way around, and that caused offence?
Me?
I can't remember if it was you, or it might have been Gray.
I don't remember
that. There was. I think there was something, and I remember that having similar things, because it just you make there's assumptions they make about each other, and therefore if you get it wrong, you cause a great offence. Wow. So we've got to an hour on this episode, so I think we'll leave it there for this episode. Next time we're going to come back for more World Cup trivia, and also build up now to the World Cup itself.
Yeah.
What can we look out for? We could probably pick out some games that excite us for the group stages, pick a few out each, and then pick about who we think will get through, and then also start to talk about what else around the World Cup. It's at that stage now where there's something more political that comes out every day, it seems, about the upcoming World Cup and what could happen.
It's a bit mental.
Yeah.
It feels like it's going
to be.
It's 1978 all over again, or 74 or something like that. It just feels mad that like you've got this crazy political stuff happening that obviously, you know, you get stuff that's entwined with football and sport in politics, but like it's pretty bizarre at the moment. The craziness of like, you know, are certain countries even going to go? Do we even know yet? Because like, you know, they're currently at war with other countries. I don't know, it's mad. It's an absolutely bizarre circumstance at the moment that we're in. Crazy times.
There's a lot to unravel, a lot to pick out, and a lot to sort of not shy away from as well in terms of discussing. I think people need to be aware.
Absolutely.
It's not going to be a normal build-up, and there's things that are going to happen between now and then for sure that probably will need explaining as to why this is happening. So there's lots for us to talk about content-wise, but lots of excitement to see why you should follow international football and why it's just not about what happens on the first game. There's a lot to happen between now and then.
Yeah, sure. Indeed.
Cool.
Cool.
All right. We'll leave it there and we'll see you all again soon. Thanks, Trev.
Right. See you later, guys. Thanks, Ricky.
See you guys. Bye.